For us humans with our simple stomachs, it can be a little hard to understand what goes on in the digestive system of a ruminant animal. You may have thought about these questions and others before, but it may have been hard to find clear answers. Let's spend some time talking about cattle and their cud. First of all, we know that cattle are ruminant animals. This is commonly described as having 4 stomachs, but that's not entirely accurate. It's more like they have a 4-compartment stomach. Each compartment has a different job, looks different, and is a slightly different size. This impacts what kinds of foods they can eat and the amount of nutrients they can get from that food. The 4 compartments of a ruminant stomach are the Reticulum, Rumen, Omasum, and Apomosum. Food will first be chewed, then sent down the esophagus like in monogastric animals like us, and then it will land in the rumen. The rumen is the largest part of the digestive system and can hold up to 40 gallons worth of material. This compartment's basic purpose is to ferment the nutrients out of the food. Cattle are herbivores, which means they only eat plants. As a general rule, the nutrients in plants are harder to digest than the nutrients in animal proteins, partially because they are locked in cellulosic cell walls. This makes organs like the rumen so important and powerful for herbivorous animals. It can help cook out those nutrients so the animals gain the energy they need. This also helps explain why we humans eat salads and lose weight, while cattle can eat hay and other forages and gain weight. After the cattle's food sits in the rumen a little while, it travels to the reticulum. The reticulum's structure on the inside looks like a honeycomb. When food first comes into the reticulum, it's generally not chewed very well. This is their cud. The reticulum will ball up the portion of food sent to it by the rumen and trigger the regurgitation of the cud. The cattle will then chew the cud more completely, and will swallow again when they are done. This helps the cattle better digest their food. The scientific term for chewing their cud is rumination. Cattle will spend about a third of their day ruminating. When they've finished with this step, the food will travel to the next stomach compartment. The next compartment is the omasum. The omasum helps absorb liquids. It's relatively small and has lots of folds. Since liquids don't need to be digested to the extent of cellulosic feedstuffs, like corn stalks, they will generally pass through the rumen and reticulum quickly to reach the omasum, where they will get absorbed. In fact, there is a small slot that opens from the reticulum directly into the omasum, the esophageal groove, when a calf's head is at the right angle that allows milk to pass directly to the omasum. So, for the first portion of a calf's life, it does not chew its cud, it doesn't have any. The last compartment of the ruminant stomach is the Apomosum, also known as the true stomach. This compartment functions much like our stomach, using acids to further digest feedstuffs before sending it onto the intestines. It's important that food gets thoroughly cooked and digested before it reaches the intestines, because the small intestine, the first segment of intestines, does most of the nutrient absorption in the digestive system. This makes foregut fermenters like ruminants more efficient at absorbing plant materials than hindgut fermenters like humans, who primarily ferment cellulose in the large intestine. According to dairy cow nutritionist Mary Beth Diondarza, when a cow is chewing her cud, that's a good sign. It means that she is comfortable, relaxed, and eating a good diet with a sufficient amount of long fiber. It all goes back to the fact that dairy cows are ruminants, meaning that part of their stomach, the rumen, is like a large fermentation vat. It contains bacteria that digest the cow's feed and convert it into energy and protein. Here's how it works. While fibrous feed like hay is good for cows, they have to break it down quite a bit so the rumen bacteria can digest it. When the cow first eats her feed, she chews it just enough to moisten and swallow it. Then the bacteria in the first section of her stomach, the rumen, get to work softening the feed and fiber. This softened food is called the cud, and it is sent back up to the cow's mouth, where it is re-chewed before going back down into her stomach to be fully digested. Chewing cud produces saliva, which is important for controlling rumen acidity. Too much acid hinders the growth and function of the rumen bacteria, especially those that digest fiber. Cows need to be comfortable and relaxed to chew their cud, and usually lie down to do it. They can lie down for very long periods of time, not to sleep, but just to chew their cud. Cud-chewing cows are generally healthier. With a well-functioning rumen, cows will digest more of their diet and produce more milk. That's why farmers pay close attention to whether or not their cows chew their cud, and some have even installed monitors to help them keep an eye on the herd's cud-chewing activity.